DC United. I'm going to spend this entire day talking about DC United. It may be one or two more monologues dedicated to talking about DC United today. I'm not talking about any other team today besides DC United. Now, we all know that DC United is a pioneer, and I'm not going to get into that pioneer talk. The hell with that, because the new teams have already surpassed the pioneers. The pioneers are now following the lead of the young bloods. The pioneers are now following the leads of LAFC and Atlanta and NYCFC and Philly. The pioneers are not the leaders of the MLS. The DC United, even though you're not a leader in the MLS, that does not mean you can't rise back to being to the top. DC United, all it takes is your willingness to go back to the drawing board and reinvent yourself. The same message that I gave to the Seattle Sounders and the Portland Timbers and Vancouver yesterday. Are you willing to rebrand yourself? Are you willing to reinvent yourself? Are you willing to go through a self-reflection phase? That is what you need, DC United. Because DC United, let me tell you something. You are in danger of becoming an inaugural member of the Forgotten Club. Now, you may be thinking, what is the Forgotten Club? Well, let me explain to you, listener, what the Forgotten Club is. The Forgotten Club is going to be a large group of MLS teams that new generation sports fans don't give a damn about. Listen, parity is an illusion. Everybody can't be great. Everybody being great in a sports league is unrealistic. And it's not appealing. We all saw how bad of a product the NBA was, like in the early 2000s when they were trying to, help the small market clubs and just make sure everybody becomes good. We all saw how boring that brand of basketball was. The NBA started becoming more exciting when the Golden State Warriors rose. The NBA was more exciting when everybody was chasing after Miami. It was more exciting when everybody was chasing after Golden State. That's when sports is most exciting. The NFL, even though the NFL, champions itself as parity by rewarding teams for losing, teams that have a losing seasons, they're rewarded by getting a top player in the draft, which is bad. It's just a bad business, in my opinion, because it encourages teams to lose. This is why you have the same NFL teams, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Jets. Every year they have a top 5 draft pick because the NFL rewards them for losing. You don't want to be like that, MLS. So the Forgotten Club are teams that will continue to lose. And as a result of them always losing, new generation sports fans like me, who doesn't pledge allegiance to any MLS team or any American sports team or any global sports team in general, you're not going to be on our radar. You're not going to be on our minds. We're not going to give a damn when you play. There's already a couple of MLS teams that's positioning themselves. They're preparing themselves to join the Forgotten Club, which will take place in 2027 after the 2026 World Cup. The inaugural year of the Forgotten Club will be in 2027. And there's a couple of clubs that's already getting themselves ready for 2027. New England, Chicago, Portland, Vancouver, Colorado, and Kansas City. Those clubs are getting ready to join the Forgotten Club. New England already sent that message to us by selling half of their team this year. DC United, don't let that be you. And it doesn't have to be you, DC United. I'm curious to know, what is the issue with DC sports? It's like every sports team in DC is fighting for a welfare check. They're fighting for welfare benefits. It seems like there's no team in DC that really cares about winning. From the outside looking in, it looks like every sports team in DC is okay with losing. DC United, don't let that be you. And it starts with coaching. Wayne Rooney. Now, there's some DC United fans who are not fully on board with you because they know that they believe that you're not going to be around for the long haul. A lot of them believe that you're just going to be around for 2 years because you're preparing yourself to be a top coach in Europe, your ultimate goal. A lot of DC United fans believe that you're just using the MLS job as preparation for a top European job, like, of course, English Premier League coaching job. But Wayne Rooney, if you don't win any championships in America, what European club, what Premier League club in their right mind will hire you as a head coach? If you don't win any U.S. Open Cup championships, no U.S. Open Cup titles, no CCL titles, no League Cups titles, no Supporter Shield, no MLS Cup titles, what Premier League club in their right mind, what La Liga club in their right mind will hire you as a head coach? You see, Wayne Rooney, I don't believe that you understand the magnitude of this DC United job. DC United is one of the most prestigious organizations in the MLS. And yes, of course, you already know that because you are a former player. But just because you're a former player, that doesn't mean you fully understand what you got yourself into. You see, the MLS has grown completely fast. The MLS in 2022 is not the same MLS in 2019. And Columbus Crew coach found out this week. The 2020 MLS Cup champion, Columbus Crew, their head coach had a mentality where, well, we can just get a couple ties throughout the season. If we get a lot of ties and all we have to do is win on the final game of decision day and we're in the playoffs. And that used to work for a lot of MLS teams. But guess what? Too many ties did not work for a lot of the teams that missed the MLS playoffs this year. Bruce Arena was one of those guys with that same mentality as the former Columbus Crew coach. You know, get a couple ties, get mostly ties, and, you know, get a few wins here and there. You know, don't lose too many. As long as we have more ties than losses and we have a couple wins, then we'll still find our way in the playoffs. It doesn't work, Wayne Rooney. The MLS that you saw, that you experienced in 2019 is not the same MLS of 2022. One thing I didn't like about a comment that you made most recently at the end of the season, it was reported that you said, Wayne Rooney, that the players better show up to camp. Whenever preseason camp starts for DC United, you said to a reporter that the players better be in shape. But isn't it the coach's job to make sure that the players are in shape? Isn't it the coach's job to make sure that the players are prepared for the season? Now, Wayne Rooney, I understand that these guys are paid to stay in shape and they're paid to live a healthy lifestyle. I understand that. So they got some responsibility of their own. But you are making it seem like, Wayne Rooney, you're making it seem like if they don't show up to preseason camp, training camp in shape, that is going to be their fault if DC United doesn't have a winning season. Wayne Rooney, you are already pointing the fingers at the players, which is something that losing teams do. Losing teams, losing coaches, losing players, they always point the fingers at others. Leaders of an organization that points the fingers at the players are usually losing organizations. So Wayne Rooney, I'm going to help you out this offseason. I'm going to help you out. The next time you talk to the reporter and they ask you like that kind of question about like preparation for next season, this is what you should say, Wayne Rooney. Say, it is my job to prepare them for a Supporter Shield run. It is my job to prepare them for a U.S. Open Cup run. It is my job to prepare them for a Leagues Cup run. It is my job to prepare them for a MLS Cup playoff run. It is my job to prepare them for a CCL title run. It is my job to prepare them for a Club World Cup run. It's your job, Wayne Rooney. They brought you in for that. But in my honest opinion, Wayne Rooney, and you can prove me wrong this coming season, in my honest opinion, I believe your hire was a PR move. I don't believe that this was a real head coaching move, a real head coaching hire by DC United ownership group. I believe that this was a PR move for the ownership group in order for season ticket holders to continue to show up to the games. Wayne Rooney, you can prove me wrong in 2023, but this is what I personally believe. It's not a fact. It's just my personal belief. But you can prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong that you are a legitimate head coach and that your hire to DC United was not a PR move. DC United, you do not want to join the inaugural Forgotten Club of 2027. You do not want to join New England and Colorado and Portland and Chicago in the Forgotten Club. Because those clubs I named, I don't believe that they're serious about winning championships. I don't believe those organizations are serious to be great. I just don't believe it. If you don't want to be part of the Forgotten Club, if you want to be remembered from new era sports fans, because listen, Wayne Rooney, new era sports fans, we are not allied to any sports teams, millennials and Gen Zs. We don't really root for teams anymore. We more so root for players. And a lot of us are bandwagon fans. We're not going to cheer for a team if they continue to lose. We don't give a damn if we're called bandwagon fans. Nobody wants to cheer for losers. We don't cheer for losers. Millennials and Gen Zs do not cheer for losers. That is why we're not dedicated to teams. We don't have favorite teams. We root for winners. We watch winners. We're not going to spend our whole entire life being miserable because one of our team is constantly losing. That's nonsense. So Wayne Rooney, if you don't want to be known as the forgotten team amongst Gen Y and Gen Zs, you have to start winning in 2023. And this is your first goal, Wayne Rooney. US Open Cup, Supporter Shield, or Leagues Cup. Because the good thing about you, Wayne Rooney, this is one thing you have to realize. I really hope that your plan, I really hope it's not a 2-year plan that you have in the MLS, because the MLS, if you stay with the MLS for at least 5 to 10 seasons, you'll be better prepared for an English Premier League or a La Liga or a Bundesliga club to coach. Because listen, Wayne Rooney, the good thing about the MLS, you have multiple chances, multiple opportunities to win titles and to build your roster. You have multiple opportunities to win championships. You have Supporter Shield, which is relevant. I admit, earlier this year, I did state that the Supporter Shield was irrelevant. I was completely wrong. I'm completely wrong for saying that. The Supporter Shield is important. So Wayne Rooney, you have the Supporter Shield. You have the US Open Cup. You have Leagues Cup. Those are the 3 that you should be focused on for this year and next year. Your first 2 seasons, your first 2 full seasons, you focus on either winning a Supporter Shield or US Open Cup or a Leagues Cup. After you get that, then you move on to the next level, the higher level. MLS Cup Championship, CCL Championship. Then once you get those 2, Wayne Rooney, then Campeones Cup, Club World Cup. In those order, Wayne Rooney. I repeat, year 1, 2023, first full season. Your goal should be either US Open Cup Championship, Supporter Shield, or Leagues Cup. That's year 1. Year 2, Wayne Rooney. MLS Cup Championship, CCL title. That's year 2, 2024. 2025, Campeones Cup, Club World Cup. In that order. Wayne Rooney, listen to me. I understand what new era sports fans want. I understand what new generation sports fans want to see. Wayne Rooney, if you listen to me, you will return DC United back to a respectable team.